Delighted now to be joined by Senior Clinical Lecturer at the University of Exeter Medical School, Dr Bharat Pankhania. Good to see you. Have you changed your pre-Christmas plans in order to save Christmas Day, as the Queen has, as Chris Whitty suggested we should?
Yes, I did this, and I did this a long time ago. As soon as remember, I'm in the business, so I love to take my medical students out. I have my tutorial groups, and I love to take them out. And we agreed that this wouldn't be right; it wouldn't be the good thing to do. So I have said to them, "Come the new year, we will have a garden party at my home instead." With regards to family gatherings, etc., I love to have lots of people at my home too. And for the second year running, unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
Dr Pankhania, we've had many discussions with you on our show, Gloria and I, over recent months. It's always good to see you. You often talk about your students at Exeter University Medical School there. They're clearly very important to you, that part of your academic life. To what extent do you think we're in danger that come the new year, universities won't go back to face-to-face teaching? Do you think we are now in that territory again?
I hope not. And my reasons are as follows. So when we were in the lockdown situation, I sat on the top table at the University of Exeter working out our preparedness plans of how to deliver this very well. And come September, when the medical school term started, we've been delivering face-to-face, and we've been successfully delivering our teaching. So I feel come 2022, the plan that we put in place has shown to be working, and therefore we have all plans to continue with our face-to-face teaching in the new year.
And as you said, you are indeed in the business. So what is it? What have you seen that has led you to scale back those pre-Christmas gatherings that you'd planned?
So this is a really important question, and I'm really grateful that you ask it, because it goes as follows. So people will tell you that it is a mild disease-causing variant. I accept that, most possibly. On the other hand, the trouble with it is that if it is highly infectious, number one, and number two, the evidence that it may be bypassing the vaccines that we've been immunized with, then we have a problem. The problem is at a population level. At an individual level, people may get infected, get better, fine. But at a big population level, we will get a small percentage who become seriously ill in a short period of time with a rising tide of infections. And when that happens, even a 0.2 or 0.5% of, say, 10 million people is a large number, suddenly needing hospital care, hospital attention, and some people will die. So that is the mathematical modeling of mild but very infectious and vaccine bypassing. What would you do in that case? Avoid getting exposed. And avoid getting exposed equals reducing your human-to-human interactions.
Dr Bharat Pankhania of the University of Exeter Medical School, thanks as ever for joining us here on GB News.
We're delighted to be joined now by psychologist Emma Kenny. Emma, it is Christmas party season, but is anyone partying? Are you partying in the run-up?
Well, I come from quite a northern working class area where we just kind of are living our lives and trying to get back to normal, because that's good for mental health, and also because what are we going to do? Just take the example that was said there, a mild illness that is very contagious. I'm not a medic, clearly, but I do know that that would equivocate a cold. And of course, colds spread quickly. They have done for a very long time. If we're going to lock ourselves up and away from people because there's a cold going around, because it could affect certain people, as it will do past, present, future, then we may as well accept that we're never going to get back to normal. And for mental and physical health, one of the most important things is to be around people that we love and spend time with them. And also, one of the most powerful things that we all need to have a discussion about in the UK and Western world is our really poor acknowledgement of mortality. we are going to die. There is a point in our life when we get old and vulnerable, or also, unfortunately, if we really don't take care of our health, and therefore we put ourselves more at risk, that there's a conversation we need to have about, firstly, looking after our mental and physical health better, and secondly, accepting that we don't live eternally, nor should we wish to. That's what gives life meaning. So I think that on the medical level, we keep getting sent these facts and numbers and statistics, and it sounds really scary when you do that. But if you stop and just go logically and say, well, actually, what we're saying is you have a poor connection with the fact that we're not going to live forever, and that's okay. My God, should it teach us one thing? Yes, it should. Make sure that you live in the present around people that you share your lives with and loves with, and that you take every moment as a mini miracle of your experience on this momentary experience that you have on this planet of consciousness. That's the reality, and no one's talking about it. So my Christmas plans are not going to change at all, nor are my Christmas bookings. I'm going to support the hospitality industry. I'm not going to support anyone that puts in vaccine passports. They're discriminatory, prejudicial, and after being a woman in our society and fighting for equality for a long time, I'm not giving it up. But apart from that, I'll be supporting everybody and anybody who wants to engage with me, because I'm a human animal and I require other human animals to be alive, essentially, because it makes me feel well and happy.
Emma, I guess then you'd agree with Chris Whitty himself, who said just a couple of weeks ago, if there was another full lockdown, given that we've had a big taste of freedom since July 2021, Freedom Day, it might be hard to take the public with us. That's what he said to the Local Government Association. On the other hand, we do have to adhere to the law, don't we? What are you going to do if the government says, well, we are going to lock down? I mean, with the best will in the world, a lot of people will agree with your sentiment there, and it's a wonderful sentiment, but they will in the end adhere to the law.
I mean, I don't live in a totalitarian, tyrannical state. I live in a democracy. They're there to serve me, not for me to serve them. I think that 3.5% of the population is all it requires to say no to a government, and that will end the situations and sanctions that they're putting on us. It's already been shown that people are going to court and not being fined because they've not been considered as lawful. Also, I think that we have to counter the reality of what we're being told by those individuals with their actions, which were to break all their rules consistently. So no, I'm not going to accept lockdowns because they're terrible for us. And the evidence is that poor minority groups in particular have been so badly affected that it's going to take aeons for them to ever get to a point where they have the equity that they had prior to this. Secondly, are we going to accept living in a police state forever? Because believe me, there's going to be lots and lots of variants. And are we ever going to accept that as human beings, we don't actually have to ask for our freedom? I'm not a prisoner. Neither are you. Neither are any of us. We're not prisoners. We're free human beings.
All the polling suggests that the government, all the polling on this suggests that the public are heartily in favour of the Plan B restrictions, which cause such a hoo-ha. But I mean, in most people's view, are quite limited. And the anecdotal evidence, I mean, certainly my own life, is that I was supposed to be at a party tomorrow night. The host of that party is cancelled. I was going to have people over on Sunday, and I said, well, what do you think? And they said, probably, actually, it's not a good idea. So I'm just prioritising. I think I'm more representative. I've never really lived my life thinking about what people are going to give me permission to do. I live my life thinking about the people that I care for and the communities that I serve. And right now, the poor communities that are pretty much Are you seeing your elderly parents on Christmas Day?
Sadly, my dad died 2 years ago, but my mother is just coming up for 80, and absolutely, I'm seeing her on Christmas Day. I couldn't imagine anything worse than keeping an elderly person isolated in their own home, but obviously everybody's got a different subjective experience.
And the argument is...
Northern, so northern people tend to have that kind of mentality.
I'm northern. I'm from Bradford, darling. But the argument is that Chris Whitty's making is that because we all want to see our older mums, and obviously sorry about your dad, but, you know, those lucky enough to still have both parents, that we should rein it in for them, so we can save Christmas Day.
I'm witty. We've been reining it in for you for 2 years, my love. So it's a no from me in that respect. And also, I'm not trying to be glib about this. What I'm trying to say is, look, people followed the guidance. I adhered to every rule and regulation. Not that the press would have had you believe that. They made out I was doing all sorts of things. It's not true. I just adhered to every rule and regulation. But nonetheless, as time has progressed, and I've worked with people who are suicidal, communities that are feeling broken apart, poverty beyond belief rising, child mortality going through the roof, head injuries of young people in hospital going through the roof, and so on and so forth, domestic homicide going through the roof. We know our society cannot handle another lockdown for different reasons, not just the glib experience of I want to see people. This is more of a socio-political issue. The other thing is, people have had their vaccines. They're being told to have a third vaccine. So, okay, you're going to have it one way or the other. You either say vaccines are working, therefore get on with your life, hence why they're meant to be bringing in VPs, or you say, you know what, vaccines aren't working, they've not worked at all, what are we going to do? Well, either way, you're going to lose at a government level. Either stop the vaccine programme or accept that they've worked and get people out there.
Emma Kenny, thanks for that. Emma Kenny, psychologist, joining us here on GB Views.